Happy Wednesday to everybody. Hope your day is off to a good start, whatever you have planned for your day. We are at the third game of the June 27th schedule. It's in Comiskey Park, rather. Not going to be in Wrigley Field. We're at Comiskey Park for the California Angels and the Chicago White Sox. And in real world, they were pretty similar teams as far as their win-loss record goes. And not that far off on the replay. California 37 and 36, Chicago 32 and 37. Starting pitchers for today's game: Mike Witt, right-hander for California; Lloyd Bannister, the lefty for Chicago. We are at Comiskey Park. It's symmetrical. Singles are 1 to 13, both sides of the plate. Home runs are 1 to 3. And we have made it now to game number 500 in the overall replay. Both pitchers pretty good at holding on runners. Bannister is a -2, and Witt is a -5. So let's take a look at Bannister as we bring up the Strat computer as well to get his replay numbers. But we'll look at Bannister first on his real season. Floyd Bannister, 1987, 16 and 11 with a 358 earned run average. Those were his real numbers in the 87 season. On the replay, he's exceeded that. He is 8-2 with a 2.53 ERA, 110 innings pitched, 92 hits, 20 walks, and 53 strikeouts. So he has done pretty well for himself. One of the things I forgot to write in were his wild pitch and balk ratings, as well as the pass ball rating on Boone. So let's see here. He is according to the Strat computer, he is a 4 wild pitch and a 2 balk. And Bob Boone, as far as a pass ball rating, I'm sorry, not Bob Boone, but Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk pass ball rating is a 3. All right, let's do the same thing really quickly for Boone and company. Get his pass ball rating. Boone's pass ball rating is a 3 as well. And for Mike Witt, his wild pitch and balk rating, 5 and a 0. Okay, now we've got all this information we need, because unfortunately that information is not written on the 1987 cards. Why they didn't do that, I have no idea. They just didn't. Good morning, Philip. Good to see you. All right, so leading things off for the California Angels will be designated hitter Brian Downing. Downing, veteran DH, not much speed, but they had him in the leadoff spot, I guess, because he gets on base. Of course, these cards don't show the on-base percentage. But in the replay, he's hitting .314, 18 homers, 53 driven in. He had .272 in the real season. Got our dice right here, but before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip, as has become tradition in the morning games. And that is some good coffee. That out of the way, now we're ready to go. Brian Downing. 4-12 for Bannister. It's a ground ball right back to Bannister. And that's 1 away. 1 down, and that'll bring up speedster Devon White, right fielder. Devon White hitting .289 on the replay, 13 homers, 45 driven in. He hit .263 real world, switch hitter. Batting right-handed. 6'10", and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at third baseman Steve Lyons. He's a 4 E15. 4-1, that's going to get through for a base hit. No question about it. 4 is a single. That's a 7, and he is an E15 at third base. There is no 7 there, so there's no error on the play, but it is going to be a base hit for Devon White. And he'll be looking to get a good lead. Let's look at White's stolen base numbers, both on the replay and in the real season. Look at what he did. In the 87 season, Devon White stole 32 bases, got caught 11 times. On the replay, he stolen 13 bases, only caught 3 times. His chance to get a lead needs a 3, 4, 5, or 6 to get the lead. And he gets that lead, so he will go 18, being held as a 16, minus 2 is a 14. 1 to 14, and Devon White will steal second base. And he's thrown out by Carlton Fisk. Nice throw by Fisk. And the tag put on by Donnie Hill down at second base. So Devon White gets caught for the fourth time this replay. 13 steals, 4 caught. In the real season, 32 steals, 11 caught. So good gamble, but just didn't pay off. Is that 19 came up on the D20, and when 19 comes up on a D20, you're pretty much screwed. Just the way it is. All right, here's Dick Schofield, shortstop. Shortstop, Dick Schofield hitting 222 on the replay. 5 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 251 real world. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Bannister, his first, and that's going to do it for the California Angels. We go to the bottom of the first. It is California nothing, Chicago coming to bat. And right-hander Mike Witt will be on the mound for the California Angels. Get the numbers on Witt. Close-up look at Witt's card. Mike Witt was 16-14 with a 4.01 ERA in the 1987 season. On the replay, Witt is 7-4 with a 3.66 ERA. 113 innings pitched, 101 hits, 29 walks, and 109 strikeouts. And leading things off for the White Sox will be shortstop Ozzie Guillen. Guillen hitting 265 on the replay, a homer, 27 driven in. He hit 279 real world. And as we get close to the end of June, once we finish June, before we head to July, I'll do a quick video showing all the standings, the statistical leaders, and all that stuff. So get you a recap of how everybody's doing. But I still like to do it every day just for the flow of the game. 5-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. Easy play for McLemore, 1 down. Guillen is out of there, and here comes Donnie Hill, the second baseman. Donnie Hill having some troubles, hitting 188 on the replay. 2 homers, 19 driven in. He hit 239 real world. He is a switch hitter, 4-4, and that's going to be a base on balls. First walk issued by Witt. Witt normally showing some decent control. That's only his 30th walk in 113 innings. He walked 84 real world. Hill is not going to go anywhere. Hello, Matt. I don't follow NBA, so but if you do, that's wonderful. And if your team lost, that's not so good. All right, here's Harold Baines. Baines hitting 273, 3 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 293 real world. First havoc roll for Mike Witt. Nothing's happening. Here's Harold Baines. 6-5 to the left. He's a fly to left, and that's 2 away. 2 down. Runner still at first in Donnie Hill for Greg Walker, first baseman. Walker hitting 221. 4 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 2-7 for Walker, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Witt. And both teams go rather quietly in the first. They get a base runner, and that's it. We go to the second, no score from Comiskey Park. Tomorrow we will be in Kansas City, the Seattle Mariners and the Kansas City Royals. Lee Guterman for the Mariners and Brett Saberhagen for the Royals. That will be tomorrow. Then on Friday, we'll be in Milwaukee for the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. That's Jim Clancy against Juan Nieves. And that'll round out the 1987 schedule for June 27th. The other games I'll play offline. Here's the Sensei. He's hitting 244 on the replay, 10 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 234 real world. 5-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. Easy play for Hill. 1 down, and that will send up George Hendrick in there against the left-hander. George Hendrick hitting 171 on the replay and 35 at bats. No homers, 3 driven in. He hit 241 real world. 4-8, and he will strike out. Second strikeout for Bannister. And that takes us to Bob Boone, the catcher. Boone hitting 232 on the replay. A homer at 10 driven inning at 242 real world. 2-7 for Boone, and he grounds it to short. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Floyd Bannister. If you enjoy watching History Maker Golf, of course, the Waste Management Phoenix Open will be coming up on the channel. We'll have qualifying rounds 1 and 2 to determine the cut. That will be on Thursday. On Friday, we'll do the round 3 to get the positioning. And then on Saturday Saturday evening, will be the back 9 coverage of the final round to determine a winner in the Waste Management Phoenix Open from TPC Scottsdale. Thomas Dietrich was the winner of that in Real World. We'll see what happens on this one. Here's Ivan Calderon. Calderon hitting 71 on the replay. 8 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 283 Real World. 5-5 for Mike Witt, and he struck him out. Second strikeout for Witt. Calderon is out of there, and here's Pudge Fisk. Got 2 of the more patriarchal catchers, I guess you want to call them, in the majors at this time in 1987. Probably the 2 most veteran catchers in the American League for sure, Bob Boone and Carlton Fisk. Fisk hitting 281 on the replay, 7 homers, 25 driven in. He hit 256 Real World. 3-9, and that's a base hit for Carlton Fisk. First hit of the game for the White Sox. Of course, Fisk no threat to run. He will hold, and here comes Darryl Boston, left fielder, hitting 280 on the replay, 7 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 258 Real World. 3-8 for Boston is a single to right field, but Fisk, who does not run very well at all, is not going to try anything. Devon White's got a -3 arm in right field to even, put a clamp on that even further. So just the one base for Carlton Fisk. Puts runners at first and second with 1 out for Steve Lyons. Lyons has only had 15 at-bats in the replay thus far. He's hitting 267 in those 15 at-bats. No homers, 2 driven in. He hit 280 Real World. 3-8 for Lyons, and that's another single. This one to left field. Left fielder Hendrick is a 0 arm, but Fisk, again, you'd be looking at a 1 to an 11, and I just don't think you can do it. I think you've got to hold him up here. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. You get slow base runners, you kind of have to play station to station. So here's Ken Williams. Bases loaded, 1 out for Williams. California playing back for the double play. Williams hitting 202 on the replay, 2 homers, 10 driven in. He hit 281 Real World. So he is the Joe Carter of the Chicago White Sox. 4-3, and that's a ground ball pitcher X, Mike Witt. He's in 3 E18 for Mike Witt. And the pitcher is always considered to be in. So any result will be with an in category. So a 3 and a 10 for a pitcher. 3 and a 10 is a G3, but again, the infield is, when it's hit to the pitcher, is considered to be in. That's a 13, and he is an E18. E18 is 11, 12, and 14, but no 13. So now we check out the G3 result. G3, where are you? Did I miss you? Maybe it's on this side. Yeah, down here. Okay, G3. Bases are loaded, infield in, leader. So when you go here to leader, batter is safe, lead runner's out at first, or at the plate. So they're going to go get a 1 to 2 fielder's choice on Fisk. They get that lead dog. Everybody else moves up 90 feet, but keeps the runner off the board. Base is still loaded. Fielder's choice ground out, scoring at 1 to 2. Base is still loaded, 2 outs. Clutch situation for Ozzie Guillen. Guillen Grounded to second his first time up. In the clutch for Guillen. He will lose some hits here. 1, 2, 1, 5. But a 3-7 is a solid single to center field, so didn't miss him there. Base hit. Scoring is Boston. Lions probably will score. He's a 13, but he's not being held as a trail runner, makes him a 14. 2 outs makes him a 16. Center fielder Aaron Pettis is a +1, makes him a 17. So 1 to 17, but if they throw through, all the runners are going to advance. So that's a tough call, but you hate to give it. But 1 to 17 just doesn't look good. So they're going to hit the cutoff man here. So Williams, I think Williams will still get third, but they'll keep Guillen at first base. They won't let him get second base. But it's a 2-run single for Ozzie Guillen. Two-run single, Ozzie Guillen, his 28th and 29th RBIs of the season, of the replay. And the White Sox lead at 2-0. Still 2 outs, runners at the corners. Guillen not going to try anything now with that -5 hold by Witt and Boone. So he'll stand pat and see if Donnie Hill can do something. In the clutch, Hill will lose a hit on a 1-2 and on a 3-9. That's a 2-8. 2-8 is a pop out to first, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs come in for the White Sox. A 2 RBI single from little diminutive Ozzie Guillen gives the Chicago White Sox the 2-0 lead after 2. And we start the top of the third. It'll be the bottom portion of the order for the Angels. Wally Joyner, Gary Pettis, and Mark McLemore. Against the lefty, they dropped Joyner, who normally bats third. He's dropped all the way to 7th. Didn't do that bad against lefties, but manager Gene Mauch says, I want to move him down a little bit, I guess, for whatever reason. But that's what's going on. Good morning, Heiser. Good morning, Dr. D. I'm almost there, Dr. D. I'm probably about 95% of the way there. Pretty much. I'm kind of stopped taking any kind of, I'm not taking any more medicine or anything. I think I'm pretty much where I need to be. There's a little bit of lingering congestion, but that's very, very minor. So hopefully I'm where I want to be very shortly. Just got to get through this heat wave. This is the 3rd day in a row where it's going to be in the mid-90s. Then tomorrow, rain comes in, it drops to the mid-60s. So it's a big drop in temperature in one day. So, all right. So Wally Joyner hitting .311 on the replay, 18 homers, 48 driven in. He hit .285 real world. Lefty. 2-6 for Joyner. Lefty doesn't stop him at all. 1 to 14 is a double. So a leadoff double for Wally Joyner. For Joyner, that's his 22nd double of the replays. He had 33 of them real world. That's his 22nd. Brings up the very speedy Gary Pettis. Pettis on the replay hitting .222, room 222, and 243 at bats. He's hitting .222, no homers, 24 driven in. On the replay, he hit .208. 2-7 against the lefty, and he struck him out. Third strikeout for Bannister. Takes us to the number 9 hitter, switch hitter Mark McLemore. Second baseman, McLemore hitting .272, 3 homers, 23 driven in. He hit .236 real world. Joyner still at second with 1 out. 3-5 for McLemore. Ground ball to short, so that'll hold Joyner at second base. 2 down, so Joyner's still right where he was starting from. He's still there. Clutch situation now for Brian Downing. And we'll check Downing in the clutch against lefties. He drops a couple of hits, 2-5 and 2-6. .19, though, is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Bannister pitches around the leadoff double, and the Angels come away with nothing. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-0 Pale-Hose. Here from Comiskey Park in game number 500 on the replay. Boyd Bannister doing the job. Now he turns it over to Mike Witt. Mike Witt's got a hold serve, facing Harold Baines. 1-4 for Baines. He grounds it to second. McLemore is there. Easy play. One away for Greg Walker. Walker, strikeout victim his first time up. 2-7, and he will strike out once more. That is the third strikeout for Witt. Walker has been 2 of those. Brings up Calderon, right fielder. He was the other strikeout victim. 3-11, and this one's a ballpark blast here at Comiskey, but it's only a 1-3. So the 8's going to just die at the warning track. 3 up, 3 down is going to do it. Quick inning for Mike Witt. Gets his team off the field and in the dugout. Try to get him some runs. Go to the 4th, still 2-0 Chicago. Do it for the Angels. It'll be White, Schofield, and DeCinces. Von White singled his first time up, was caught stealing. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. Donnie Hill, 4E11. 4E11. That's a 1. It's going to get through for a base hit. Not Donnie Hill's fault. When you get a 1, pretty much everything's going to get through. So 4 and a 1's a single. That's an 8, and he is an E11. So I don't think that's a problem. Nope, it's not a problem. Just a base hit for Devon White. And we're in the same boat as was last time. But he's going to try to get that steal. He's got to get in scoring position, try to start something for his team. And to get the lead, again, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And he does not get the lead this time, so he'll have to hold. Here's Schofield. 5-12. Split chance, 1-8's a single. That's a 1, so it's a 1-star single. And here come the Angels. First 2 are on. Nobody out. Good speed on the bases. Here comes Doug DeCinces. The problem with DeCinces is that he's a double play waiting to happen. DeCinces grounded to second his first time up. Trying to avoid that double play this time. 1-11 against the lefty. He does that. He does avoid the double play, but he does fly to the left. That's hauled in out there by Daryl Boston. 1 away. And that'll bring on George Hendrick. Good morning, Kathy. 500 is just a portion of where I have to go. We're a little over a third of the way, I guess, but it's still a long way to go. But unlike the Smoking the Bandit, I don't have a short time to get there. I got as long as I want to get there. We're not rushing the process. We're enjoying the journey. All right, here's George Hendrick. That's a 3-10 lefty, another fly ball to left field. So the first 2 are on, but they're still where they were. And now it's a clutch situation coming up for Bob Boone. In the clutch against lefties, he will lose a hit on 3-7 and on 2-6. I'm sorry, 2-4. 2-4 and 3-7 are the numbers to avoid. That's a 1-5, and he lines it to third. So the first 2 are on, but Bannister pitches out of it and keeps his slate clean. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 2-0 Sox. Both runs in the second inning on a 2-run single by Ozzie Guillen with the bases loaded. All right, here is Carlton Fisk to lead things off. He singled but got thrown out the plate on a fielder's choice. Here's Fisk. 2-9 against the right-hander. He will draw a base on balls, and that is the second walk. Second walk issued by Carlton Fisk. Brings up Daryl Boston. Singled, scored his first time up. 3-8 for Boston. That's another single to right field. But again, Devon White's got a -3 arm, and Fisk doesn't run well, so he is going to plop himself right at second base. And this is how the second inning began with the 2 base runners. Lyons then followed it with a single as well to load the bases. And that was the beginning of some bad things going on. Oh, thank you, Andrew. I didn't do the math to see what the number it is, but yeah, definitely. I had already done an 87 Atlanta Braves replay, full team replay, full season replay, I should say, in History Maker Baseball. So I really didn't want to do the National League because I just done them a few years ago. So I figured American League to try to take on this kind of thing. I figured, I'm not going to try to do right now, at least. I may do it in the future. I'm not going to try to do what Jeff Goodman tried to do and play every single game. I don't think I'd ever finish that. With the American League, I think I can, with just one league, I should say, I think I can at least see a light at the end of the tunnel somehow. All right, here's Lions. But one of these days, I like to do the whole shamil, but you never know. 5-4, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. 1-13, that's a base hit, and once again, the bases are loaded just like the second inning. The bases are loaded with nobody out. We're in the exact same boat. Last time Ken Williams hit a comebacker to Mike Witt, and they got the force at the plate. Williams going to try to get the ball at least to the outfield this time. Witt trying to strike him out. 3-7, and he does. Oh, that's a 2-7. 3-7 does strike him out. So it's a big strikeout for Mike Witt. Now a double play can get you out of the inning, but Ozzie Guillen, who had the 2-run single last time, wants to try to drive in more runs. Infield is playing for the double play. That's a 2, so there could be a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on Boone. It's only a 3, and there's no pass ball. So the Angels would love to turn a double play on Ozzie Guillen. 2-8, and they won't. Ozzie Guillen comes through again with another 2-run single. He's got all 4 runs batted in from the leadoff spot, no less. Fisk scores and Boston scores. It's 4-0 White Sox. Going to third is Steve Lyons, and Ozzie Guillen has done it again. RBIs 30 and 31 now for Ozzie Guillen. He's got 4 on the day. Does Ozzie Guillen. Only 1 out. Runners at the corners. Guillen could try to get a lead. I think he will. Needs a 6 or a 7. He gets the lead. He's going to go 18, being held to 16, minus 5s and 11. 1-11, he steals it. And he's out at second base. But they figured he was playing with house money. They're up 4-0, so normally I would not have tried to steal there, but they were up 4-0. And like I said, if you don't don't attempt to steal, you're never going to get the caught stealings they had in real world. Ozzie Guillen, real world. Whoops, let me bring his numbers up here. Ozzie Guillen in the 87 season stole 25 bases, got caught 8 times. Coming into this, he only had 9 steals, was caught 4 times. Now he's Dolly Parton 9-5. He's stolen 9 and got caught 5 times. So caught stealing 2-6. And that'll bring up Donnie Hill with Steve Lyons at third and 2 outs. Clutch situation for Hill. And he loses a hit on a 1-2. So it was a gamble, but I thought it was a decent gamble. Just didn't pay off. 4-9. Switch hitter batting left. And that's going to be a base hit, so they're going to get the run anyway. It's a double for Donnie Hill. You could argue that, Guillen could have maybe scored on this, but now it's 5-0 White Sox, and you got Bannister pitching, so the chances of California coming back are not that great. So I don't think the caught stealing really, if it was a really tight game, I probably wouldn't have done it, but since we had leeway, I went ahead and went for it. Here's Harold Baines, clutch situation for Baines. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. McLemore, 2E22. McLemore, 2-9. He should get to that. 2-9 is a G2. That's an 8, and he's an E22 at second base. There is no 8. Good play, McLemore. Ends the inning, but 3 runs come in for the White Sox. They take a 5-0 lead after 4, and Mike Witt might need some relief pretty quickly. And Bannister going for his 9th win of the replay. Due up for the Angels, it will be Wally World, Wally Joyner. He doubled his first time up, but got stranded there. Not only did they not score him, they didn't even advance him. He stayed at second base. 1-8 for Joyner. He's going to ground it to first, and Greg Walker will just step on the bag. One away. And Gary Pettis. 3-5 against the lefty. That's a pop out to short, 2 down. And of course, speaking of the name Guterman, I did mention Jeffrey Guterman did that full season replay a couple times. So tomorrow we'll see another Guterman, Lee Guterman, for the Seattle Mariners. He'll be on the hill against Brett Saberhagen and the Royals. That'll be tomorrow from Royal Stadium in Kansas City. Here's McLemore. 110 for McLemore, and he lines it to Guillen, and that's going to do it. So Bannister just in full control in this game. I'm not sure going to the bullpen is going to help the Angels much because going to the bullpen doesn't produce runs. Here's Witt. He is like your ace, so you're going to give him a little bit longer leash than normal. Here's Greg Walker. Struck out twice. Witt at least figured him out. 5-4. That's a ballpark single check, 1-13, and that's a 14. So bad break there. It's going to be a fly to center. One away. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good to see you. Here's Ivan Calderon. 5-8 for Calderon, and that's going to be a strikeout for Mike Witt, his 5th. So it seems like Mike Witt has a good inning, bad inning, good inning, bad inning, good inning. So maybe we'll worry about the 6th when it comes to Mike Witt. Here's Fisk. 1-7. Struck him out. Strikeout number 6. Like I said, good inning, bad inning, good inning, bad inning, good inning. So kind of a topsy-turvy thing there for Mike Witt. See what he does in the 6th. See if that pattern holds up. We go to the 6th inning. Floyd Bannister back out. His fatigue gets the 7th inning, same as Witt. So no danger of fatigue just yet. Thank you, Brown. We're only part of the way there. We've got a long way to go, but I'm enjoying the journey immensely. It'd be nice to play more than one game a day on this, but I think those people would get tired of seeing me if I was on all the time. So we'll limit it to one a day just to get me in small doses. Here's Downing. 4-9, and that's going to be a fly out to center field. That's hauled in out there by center fielder Williams, one away. Here is Devon White. He's 2 for 2. 4-9, switch hitter, batting right-handed. That's going to be a fly ball to center field again for Ken Williams. 2 up, 2 down. And here is Dick Schofield. 2-4 for Schofield, and he lines it to Guillen. Bannister just rolling along here. That's 9 in a row retired by Bannister. He's not looking to be letting things up. He's looking at a complete game right here. Thank you, Brown. I appreciate it. Makes these games a whole lot more fun than if I was just sitting here by myself doing it. So there you go. Like I told Replay Gamer a long time ago, well, not that long ago, but when we did a little talk, he asked me how I got, why I'm doing this. And I told him, I said, when I was a little, growing up, I wanted to be either a baseball manager or an announcer, and I can't be either one. But in this situation here, I can pretend I'm both. So cheap entertainment for my pursuits. Here's Darryl Boston. 6-10. That's a ballpark blast. 1-3 though, so it's going to be a deep fly to right. One away. Steve Lyons, he is 2 for 2. He's raised his average to 353. He's only had 17 at bats, so every hit's going to really raise that average. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. That's not going to raise his average. So Witt breaking the trend of that good inning, bad inning, as he has come around with a good inning again. And that'll bring up Ken Williams. He is 0 for 2. 1-8, and that's going to be a hit by pitch, so he gets plunked. Witt got a little bit too much inside. Williams has a chance to try to get the lead. They're up 5-0, so they got house money to play with, so why not try a steal? 6, 7, or 8 to get the lead, and he gets the lead. He's a 17, being held to 15. -5 is a 10. 50-50 shot for Williams, and he steals it. Stolen base for Williams. So Williams with the stolen base, let's check out his stolen base numbers on the real season and the replay. Real 87 season, Williams stole 21 bases, got caught 10 times. This is stolen base number 6 on the replay. He's been caught twice. So Williams is in scoring position, and you know what that means for Ozzie Guillen? He's already got 4 of the 5 runs batted in this game. First base is open, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna intentionally walk him here. They're gonna pitch carefully to him, but I just don't. Guillen's not that great of a hitter. He's having a good game. So it is a clutch situation though for Guillen, and in the clutch he will lose a couple of hits, 1-2 and 1-5. 3-2, and that's a line out to third. Snagged by DeSensei, and that will end the inning. So we go to the top of the 7th. It is still 5-0. I tell you what, Brown, I enjoyed it a couple times. I've gotten to chat with Replay Gamer. He's a very nice fellow, very fine gentleman. Has some good ideas on replays and stuff like that. So I'd love chewing the fat with him. Anytime he asks, I will be there. So here is Floyd Bannister. This is his fatigue inning right here, number 7. So keep an eye on that. But he is not looking tired at all. He's retired 9 in a row. 2-8 for DeSensei, and that's a walk. So now the tally begins on fatigue. That's actually the first walk of the game for Bannister. So that's not bad if he goes 6 full innings with no walks and he finally walks somebody. Can't really fault him for that. Here is George Hendrick. He's 0 for 2. 4-6, and that's a 1-7 single. That's a 17. He will line it to Guillen, and there's one away. Here's Bob Boone. He's 0 for 2. 5-10, and that is a ballpark blast, but again, it's only a 1-3. So just a deep fly to left by Boone. Comiskey Park costing some home runs here. 2 down for Wally World. He's 1 for 2 with a double. 2-7, and that's going to be a single to center field. Let's see if DeSensei can score. He was not being held. He starts out with a 10, not being held an 11. 2 outs makes him a 13. The arm is a 0. So 1-13, and you got to get some. I know you're down 5, and you don't want to take chances, but if you're looking at a 1-13, that's 65%. Does Gary Pettis have a 65% chance of getting on base? I don't think so. So we're going to send the runner 1-13. He's in there. And he's in there. So it's an RBI single for Wally Joyner. And sometimes that first run is the hardest one to get. Since Joyner only runs at 11, he does not take second on the throw. But they are on the scoreboard. RBI for Wally Joyner, his 49th of the season on the replay. He had 117 real world. Angels are on the board 5-1. Bannister 1 hit or walk away from being fatigued. And here is Gary Pettis. Joyner no threat to run at first base. Here's Pettis. 1-7, and that's a strikeout for Pettis, and that will end the inning. Strikeout for Bannister, only his 5th, and it's his 1st since the 3rd inning. But the Angels finally get on the board. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It is 5-1. Five to 1. Favor of the White Sox. I'm not going to take an official 7th inning stretch break with a take me out to the ball game and all that stuff, but what I will do is check my setting here and make sure nothing's getting cut off, and check on Tabby and see what she's doing for a second. Make sure my coffee is up here. Brown, I do know, well, not personally, but I mean, I know Slower Borg. He used to be Strat-O-Matic, Delaware. He's changed his name a couple different times. Chris from Delaware. He is a Strat aficionado. He's been to opening day a couple different times. Good fella. All right, here is Donnie Hill. Again, fatigue inning for Mike Witt. 110 for Hill. It's a 1-12 single, and that's a base hit for Donnie Hill. He is 2 for 3. Is Donnie Hill. 2 for 3. Here is Harold Baines. This is probably one of the first years that I have not done a Strat unboxing, because I didn't buy anything from Strat this year, because I just didn't care for their offerings that they were giving out. And I'm up to my elbows in this replay anyway, so any Strats that I bought, I wouldn't be able to use it for a while. So maybe next year. Here is Harold Baines. Oh for 3 for Baines. 5-9, and that's going to be a single to center field. So now Mike Witt might be reaching his point of fatigue, and the bullpen for the Angels starting to loosen. Let's check out the availability of relievers in their bullpen for the California Angels. We do have Dwayne Bice and Greg Minton from the right side, and we have Gary Lucas and Chuck Finley from the left side. So 4 relief pitchers you can go to. Who's got the most rest? None of them need to be rested. None of them are overworked. Gary Lucas has the most rest of anybody. He's the guy that is the freshest, if you want to call it that. So Gary Lucas is loosening in the Angel bullpen. I looked at 6'9". I looked at 6'9". Is that what I did? Did I do that? I certainly did do that. Thank you for letting me know that. That was on, was that Walker? Or was that Baines? That was Baines. Oh, yes. I looked at 6'9". It should have been 5'9". So that's a fly to center. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate. I like to hear that. I like to know that when it happens. Now, if somebody 3 days from now comes on and says you read the card wrong, there's not much I can do about it. But if you tell me that it happens right when it happens, then I can fix it. And thank goodness the Strat computer has the undo button, so I can take that hit away from Baines and turn it into a fly ball to center field. And that might keep Mike Witt in the game longer. You never know. So I do appreciate you letting me know that. All right, so Greg Walker is up with 1 out and a runner at first. So that means Hill is still at first base. He is still at first base. He did not go anywhere yet. All right, here's Greg Walker, but Lucas is still in the bullpen, just in case. Walker, 4-8, and that's bad news. 1-5 is a double. 6-20, that's a double. 2 stars. So now we got second and third. Make sure I read that right. 4-8. Yep, that's a double. 1-5 is a double. So there you go. 2 stars, so they can't advance. So here's Calderon. 1 more base runner, and Witt will be fatigued. Hello, Mr. RJL. Infield is in for the California Angels. They can't afford to give up any more runs. Witt on his last leg here. Trying to choke off the run. Infield is in. Second and third, one out. Calderon. 4-5. That's a strikeout for Witt, and he needed it. For Mike Witt, that is strikeout number 8. And that brings in Pudge Fisk, but they will walk Fisk intentionally. Give the intentional pass to Fisk to load the bases for Darryl Boston, and they will bring in Gary Lucas to face Darryl Boston. So they strike out Calderon, give Fisk the intentional walk with first base open, and now Gene Mauch is going to the bullpen for Gary Lucas. Can't close the book yet on Witt because we don't know what's going to happen with the bases loaded situation. But we do know Gary Lucas is on. He's a 0 hold, which makes him a -3, but I don't think that matters right now. Let's look at the numbers on Gary Lucas. Hello, Mr. I think I'd already said hello to you, RJL. Gary Lucas was 1-5, 363 earned run average. And he garnered 3 saves. That's in the real season. In the replay, Lucas is 2-0 with 3 saves and a 3.38 ERA, 32 innings pitched, 25 hits, 16 walks, 31 strikeouts. Lefty-lefty matchup. The White Sox are not going to pinch hit for Boston because they like his defense in left field. They don't want to lose that good defense. When you're up by 4 runs, you're playing for defense. So Boston stepping to the plate in the clutch for Boston. Against lefties, he loses hits on 1-9 and 1-10, also on 3-8. Lefty-lefty matchup, Lucas to Boston. 3-5, and he struck him out. So Gene Mauch pulls the right trigger, and you wouldn't expect anything else from this channel but the right trigger on a manager call. And that's going to end the inning. No surprise there whatsoever. Now we go get the numbers on Witt, complete his pitching line. Witt 6 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, all of which were earned, 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. And he's in danger of dropping to 7-5, but he ran to a buzzsaw in Floyd Bannister. Bannister looking to go 9-2 on the replay. And it'll be McLemore, Downing, and White. They might pinch hit for McLemore here. Let's see who they might want to go to. McLemore is only a 236 hitter, and he's 0 for 2. So they're going to go to Gus Polidor, and he'll stay in the game to play second base. I know you're saying, who the heck is Gus Polidor? Well, he hit 263, so he's a better hitter for one thing. Plus, he's right-handed to face the lefties, so Polidor will pinch hit in the 8th and stay in the game to play second base in the 8th. Gus Polidor. We'll get his numbers on the replay. Polidor hitting 235 on the replay in 34 at-bats. No homers, 2 driven in, but he did hit 263 in the real season. 6-12, and that's a ground ball first base C, so Walker will get to it and will flip to Bannister covering for out number 1. And that will bring up Brian Downing. 0 for 3 from the leadoff spot. 3-9, and he gets hit by a pitch. I don't know if that's retaliation for this hit by the pitch. I doubt it. But Downing does get plunked. Not too thrilled about it, but he gets plunked. And here's Devon White. Switch hitter. Batting right-handed. He is 2 for 3. 1-9. That's a ballpark blast, but it's only a 1-3, so just a deep fly to left. And again, Comiskey Park takes a potential home run away and aids the pitcher. Here's Schofield. 1, so it's a wild pitch chance on Bannister, which is a 4. No wild pitch, so Bannister will continue to Schofield. 2-3 against the lefty, flies to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So Bannister has endurance to try to get that full, complete game. Why not? It's not a save situation, so Bob James is not loosening in their bullpen. Ray Searage is loosening the bullpen just in case, but I don't think they're going to need him either the way Bannister is pitching. He's looking like he's going to finish what he started. Here's Steve Lyons, third baseman, against Lucas. 5-9, that's a split. 1-4 is a single, that's a 6, so he lines it to the new second baseman, Gus Powler. I'll tell you, bring the player in, the ball will find you. Very first at bat, it finds the new fielder, just the way it is. So Strat Computer has prompted me to put Polidor at second base, which I just did, and now he can make that play. Line out to second. Again tomorrow, Kansas City hosting Seattle. Guterman against Saberhagen. And then Friday is Toronto at Milwaukee. Jim Clancy against Juan Nieves. NBC Game of the Week will come to you from Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. Cincinnati Reds, Los Angeles Dodgers, Fall Classic Baseball, 1979. Here's Ken Williams, 5-5, and that's a fly to left, 2 down. And, of course, the Waste Management Phoenix Open will begin tomorrow with the first and second rounds for qualifying. Friday will be the third round, and Saturday night will be the final round, back 9, for the top 12 golfers to finish out the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Thomas Dietrich won at Real World. We'll see what happens in this one. He may not even make the cut. You never know. Depends on what the dice say. Here's Guillen. He's got 4 runs batted in this game. 6-8 lefty struck him out. So Gary Lucas, fine outing, an inning and a third for Lucas. He strikes out 2 and gives up nothing. So nice outing there for Mr. Lucas. Now all eyes are on Floyd Bannister, going for the complete game. Bob James has started light tossing in the bullpen just in case, but if I had to make a guess, I would say his services will not be needed. Here's the Sensei. It's the Sensei, Hendrick, and Boone here in the top of the 9th. 6-4 for Bannister is a catcher X. That's Pudge. 3-4, but nobody on base, so no wild pitch, no pass ball, just 3-4. 3-16, probably a foul out of some sort, maybe a ground out. 3-16 is actually a foul out. That's an 11, and he is an E4. So there's no 11 there, so it is a foul out to Fisk. 1 away. 1 down for George Hendrick. He is 0 for 3. 6-8 for Bannister, and he pops him up to second base. Let's pop up to Donnie Hill. So 2 away. Floyd Bannister has been in control pretty much the whole game. Here's Bob Boone. Last chance. Wally World is on deck, and he's 2 for 3, but he's got to get there first. 3-4 against the left-hander. That's a walk, so we will get to Wally World. And for Bannister, that's only his second walk issued to go with 5 strikeouts, and he's also hit a batter. And here comes Wally World. He is 2 for 3 in this one. That's a 6-3 left-handed ground ball pitcher X. We're going right back to Bannister. He's an E6, but he's a 4 range. So this could sneak through. Not with a 19, it won't. 4 and a 19, he'll get to that. That is a 12, and he is an E6. E6, there's a 13 there, but no 12, so Bannister makes the play on Wally World, and that's going to do it. Bannister with complete game victory, 5-1. Bannister goes all 9 innings, scatters 5 hits, gives up a run, walks 2, strikes out 5. He will improve to 9-2. Witt drops to 7-5. 5 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the White Sox. 1 run, 5 hits, and no errors for the California Angels. Go to the box score and get the totals and get you set up for tomorrow's game. And see what it does for the standings. It's not going to help the Angels catch the Oakland A's, that's for sure. So now with this loss, the Angels drop an even 500, 37 and 37. White Sox improved to 33 and 37. Let's see. Guillen had the 4 runs batted in, but you got to give it to Floyd Bannister for the player of the game. He pitches a complete game victory. You have to kind of give it to him. So we go to our standings in the American League West. With this game included, Oakland now leads California by 7.5 games in the West. Minnesota 8.5 back in a third place tie with Kansas City at 8.5 back. Chicago is now 9.5 back. Seattle 10.5 back, and Texas 13 back. So Seattle will be in Kansas City tomorrow. Lee Guterman for the left-hander for Seattle against Brett Saberhagen for the Royals. And that will be tomorrow morning. The Sunday game in Strat-O-Matic Basic 1962 will be the Philadelphia Phillies and the Pittsburgh Pirates from Forbes Field. But, of course, in Basic, ballpark doesn't matter, but that's what it's going to be for Sunday. And I already mentioned the NBC Game of the Week for Saturday. And, of course, the Waste Management Phoenix Open coming up starting tomorrow. That's right. That's right, Heiser. I mean, it's just however the dice roll. I mean, but Bannister has overperformed big time. Let's look at Bannister's numbers real quick before I sign off. Real world versus what he's done on the replay. Real world, he was 16 and 11 with a 3.58 ERA. But on the replay, he is 9 and 2 with a 2.41 ERA. And this was start number 15. He's got 19 more starts to go. But he's definitely overperformed. All of his metrics are overperforming, basically. So Seattle and Kansas City tomorrow. Until then, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.